Hi, it's Book of Katherine, and we are doing Insider Movies number something. You'll see it on the thing. Anyway, we are doing Superman, and I am so excited. So we are doing Superman, and then we are also going to go ahead, and it's the original. We're going to do the original because it is the best, and there's a reason we're doing it, and there's a reason that I'm on the floor, and I will explain all of that. And I have it on my little TV down here and everything like that. So I know for you guys who are used to spending on big things and everything like that, it's a small TV. It looks small on the thing and everything like that. But you would be surprised. You'd be surprised how rich people spend. So you'd be really, really surprised. But I'll get to that later in Boss. So you'd be really, really surprised. So we will get into that later. So, but I think that you're starting to figure things out. So I think you're starting to figure things out. When you watch those videos on YouTube that say like, oh, how the rich people do it. And then you go through and like seven of them are true, but then 3 of them are like completely bogus. And they're all the ones about how you should spend your money. And I'm just like, right. So they give you 7 things that are real. And then the 3 things about how you should spend your coin are the 3 things that the rich people don't actually do. And they make you give away your money and don't let you keep your wealth. So let's get on to the movies. And I'm really, really excited. So I really wanted to make sure that you had something for this weekend. So I just figure in the midst of everything that we're doing and everything that's going on, it is good to actually watch some movies that have some real heroes, because this is going to sound cliche, but there is a hero in all of us. But we know that there's a hero in all of us because all throughout history, there have been heroes. Like there have been Abraham Lincoln and Thomas Jefferson and Martin Luther King. There have been just hero after hero, and all these people who have risen up out of just being normal people, log cabins, all these people who have just risen up and who were poor when they were born, and they just rose up, and then they ended up changing the course of history. Right? And it's happened on every single continent. So we know it's not just fiction. We know it's actually in reality. But that's why movies like this are so great, is because they remind us and they lift us up, and they're good and they are encouraging. So, and there's a reason that movies aren't like this anymore. Like there's a reason, like things have really, really changed, like Hollywood's changed. And I've showed you guys, like the richest people, the people who are in control of media are the richest people in the world. And they are, it's all the same people, and I've already posted all that in my research. But there has been a very, like when it didn't happen this way. Like this movie was made when there was more than 50 companies owning all the media companies. And so it was competitive. So of course they could make movies like this, because they were competing with 50 other media companies for your dollar. The reason they make bad movies now is there's only 6 companies. And so you have to take it. They don't have to compete with each other, and they can take money from China. China will pay them a ton of money. Whatever they would lose in the market, they make up for, because China pays them propaganda money to make what they want you to know and what they want you to be programmed with, and they make up whatever money they lose in the box office. So things are very different. So this is why it's so great to watch movies like this that lift you up and remind you what we can do, and remind you, make you feel good. There are these tricks that we learned, like there's this thing called cognitive therapy, and I can't wait to share the book with you. But it revolutionized the way pharmaceutical industry, because it actually taught us that to treat depression, you don't need pharmaceuticals. And of course, they buried that once the internet came out. You would never hear about it and everything like that. But you use cognitive therapy. But you know, one of the things that you do, one of the things they identified is they said, in order to not need to get out of depression and not need drugs for depression, is to make sure that you don't fall into the fallacy of minimizing the positive and maximizing the negative. So people have this really, really big, people with depression or people who don't have depression fall into this trap. They hang around people who do this trap, and they become depressed. And the trap is you focus on you focus on something negative and you blow it up. You blow up this little negative thing, and it becomes bigger out of proportion to all the things that are positive. And I'll give you a good example. I was studying this book because I was I was in this little depressive state, and I had learned this in cognitive therapy. And I was like, okay, like learn, dig your way out. And so I was like, use my tools. And I was teaching in a high school classroom. And I left my classroom and I realized that I was depressed because I had 40 seats in my classroom and 39 seats were successful and one seat wasn't. Like there was one child who I couldn't figure out. But this was the class that nobody wanted. There's always a class. Remember you saw in those Project Veritas things that they always group all the bad kids into one class? And I got that one class. But I got them all learning. Like I was the teacher that didn't trade them off again. I got them all learning, all successful. And that's why they said that I was such an amazing teacher. Because they came back, the superintendent came in and they were just like, they didn't recognize the classroom. Because they were all behaving like normal, everyday students. Like they didn't recognize them at all. They came in my class knocking things over, throwing everything anywhere. And by, within like a month, they were just normal students, except for one. I couldn't save one. And it just depressed me. And then I remembered, and I was like, that's one. And I'm giving that one student way more attention than their 39 other students. I am focusing on this one guy, and I'm not giving that much energy or success ratings to all those other students. And I was like, if I did that, this one student would be this small thing, and I'd be so happy. Look at all this success. And that's what our media does today. It does the exact opposite. It makes us blow up all the little negatives in American society, and it ignores all of the positive. It absolutely ignores all the positives, and then it minimizes all of the negatives in the world around us in all the other countries. If there's Sharia law, it absolutely minimizes all of those negatives. Does that make sense? And no wonder we're all depressed because of that. That's why movies like this are so important. They keep us feeling better. Like they keep us in balance as to what's good in this world. They keep us more balanced, and they keep us with a more fair and balanced view of the world. And that's why the media, that's why the DNC, when they really got in control, and all those media corporations and conglomerates got a hold of the whole media, those 6 companies owned it, that's why they really went after comic book heroes, and they really, really changed them. So that's why today's so important. We're going to learn what comic book heroes are really, really like and what it's like. So I'm going to play for you just a little clip, like an action scene, and so you can see, you're going to see my reaction, which it's going to be slow and everything because that's just the way it is, but it's so good. Oh, it's so good. So what I love about this is that I told you I love the use of color. Like, I love the use of color in Superman. One of the best. Do you see that? Do you see how vibrant that is? This is film. This is analog. Like, oh, do you see how realistic that is? Oh, okay. Okay, what I love about that, God, I don't know what I love about that is you know exactly what happened. Does that ever happen in movies today? Like, it gave the tension of the cord. Do you see what good movie making that was? Like, it gave the cord snapped, it pulled, you start to pull, it caught a little bit, it caught right, you knew where it caught on the helicopter. They don't do that today. Today it's just like boom, wah, everything just smashes because it's cheap effects. Let's just go through and destroy everything. Just destroy. Just boom. Let's just fly everything anywhere. That's not good storytelling. This is good storytelling. Do you see the difference? Like, don't just take a car, and just like, don't just take, I'm trying to find something. Like, don't just take a car and go, wah. No, you take a car and then you go, oh, it caught, is it gonna go? Is it gonna go? Oh, is it? Ah! Do you see the difference? Do you see the tension? That's storytelling. The other, that's lazy. I'm opinionated. Please go. Oh, yeah! Do you see that, like, the glass room? Oh! This is a famous scene. Oh! No! And it keeps pausing at this part. I don't know why. I think it's something like they didn't want to get a copyright strike or something like that. Like, I've tried this 3 times and it doesn't want to... Yeah. Now it's hanging off the side of the building super fast. Ah! Do you see how it puts you in the place? And everyone's wearing clothing people would actually wear, not what they're trying to sell you. Ah! And it really shows the height. Do you see? Like, you can actually feel the difference. CGI sucks, man. Hi, baby. How you doing? How you doing? You helping Mama film? Hi. Do you want to be in it? Ah! That's so famous. Oh, my gosh. Ah! Oh, my freaking stupid internet. I don't mind. It's not my internet, actually. Oh, well. It's not my internet. It's fire. We need new fire. I don't know. Fire sucks. But that's Amazon for you, which is why I'm switching to Walmart. Yay! I heard about that on Twitter. Anyway, how's that for a good segue? How's that for a good set? Well, oh, maybe I should just unplug it and replug it. Anyway, so yeah, how's that for number 2 company in the world that rules that? That's a liberal. That's a liberal piece of junk right there. That tells you everything. They want all your money, but they give you nothing in return. Did you see my piece on the Indians? Oh my gosh, I just learned a lot today. Anyway, so that gives you good storytelling and good tension and everything like that, and you get to see Superman. But hopefully that is a really, really good, like, precursor for what's coming. Oh my gosh, it's so good. It's so good. It's so good. It's so good because you feel like you're actually there. Like, all the scenes make you feel like you could actually live it. That is good movie making. It makes you feel like you could actually live it. It could happen in real life, and yet at the same time it suspends reality. That is good filmmaking, and it actually cares about the moviegoer's experience. That's wonderful. And so I think the other one that we're going to do, just because we need some romance, is we're going to throw in... Oh, that's right. No, we're not. That's right. Well, I think everyone watched Jewel of the Nile. I was going to say Jewel of the Nile, which is a follow-up to Romancing the Stone. We already did Romancing the Stone. But I think you guys all cheated and went and watched Jewel of the Nile. So if you didn't watch Jewel of the Nile yet, go watch Jewel of the Nile. Like, go watch Jewel of the Nile. So, like, go watch Jewel of the Nile if you haven't watched it. And if you're new to us and you haven't watched Romancing the Stone, go watch Romancing the Stone. I'll click up the Insider Movies right here. Well, I have to really reach now. Right here. So, and then, but the other movie we're going to do is Sandlot. We're going to do Sandlot, which I should probably bring you down here now because I'm down here. No, shouldn't have done that. Shouldn't have done that. Should have touched it. All right, so we're here. So anyway, so we're going to do Sandlot. And The Sandlot is one of those movies where it's about kids. It was written for kids, but it is a rare movie because of the time that it was made. It ended up being a classic, kind of like the Christmas movie, A Christmas Story. It was kind of like one of those movies, but for summer. It was like A Christmas Story, but made in the summer. It's that good. It's not like, it's in that vein of like, it's totally a classic. And I love it. We all love it. You can watch it any time of year. It was made for kids, but anyone can watch it. Kind of like Home Alone. Kind of like Home Alone. And so it kind of, even though it was made in a time when classics weren't being made anymore, it's very rare that a classic was made in the era that it was made. And that was what, so it was made after 2000. Like nothing was made after 2000 that became a classic. And that's why I'm pointing it out. It'll be a fun, nice summer now that it's getting warmer. It'll be a fun, nice movie for you to get into. And then, of course, Superman has more than one. Superman 1, 2, and 3. Now, I am mentioning these because, of course, you need to know them. Of course, you need to know that. You need to know because, let me be honest, all the movie directors do not consider the new superhero movies as superhero movies. They don't. They know it's being paid for by China. They know it's being paid for with the funding from like the other lobbies that I've mentioned before. They know where the money's coming from. They know why it's changed. You have seen, if you go and you actually read the interviews as to why they changed the Superman story, why they did a Superman versus Batman. And they're like, well, basically we were in the room and it's like, blah, 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 blah. And it's double talk for like, well, basically somebody paid us to have them fight, because with superheroes fighting makes you angry, it makes you divided, it makes you guys want to fight each other. Like anything to make sure the superheroes are not fighting the bad guy. Anything but that. Like, let's spend more time in the movie making the superheroes fight each other rather than fight the bad guy. The last thing we want is any single American or any single Western person ever getting the idea that fighting evil is bad. Never mind even identifying what evil is, because there's no such thing as evil, right? Oh, no, no, no. Like that Robert Redford film that just praised domestic terrorists. Like that one guy said, he's like, oh, Robert Redford, are you going to do a film romanticizing the Boston bombers next? And I was just like, they're softening the market for Antifa. Like they're preparing market for Antifa. You guys have got to be ready for that. So I'm going to go ahead and get ready to film something. I have a special film for you next. I really need to save my energy for that, but I know that you want to see the Insider movies, and I really want to watch Superman. There is a 2 and a 3, and they are almost as good as the first. And I highly recommend, honestly, all the directors, these are the ones they watch. They still honor, they still glorify these ones, and they keep them hidden for you guys because they don't think you can do this. I think you can do it. I think that if someone just tells you, hey, do this, I think you can do it. I think you can learn it and you can study it and you can figure it out, because I think you guys want good stuff. Just no one ever tells you you're capable of it. So you guys just really got to stop listening to everything they're feeding you today. It's total crap. It's all meant to just sell you and get you your money. The college is meant to get you in $50,000 worth of debt. You know why? Because $50,000 is more than it takes to put down a house payment. 50 grand for college. That means you will never do a house payment. And it will not get you a job. It will not get you a job. It will not get you a job. There are very few fields that will get you a job in. Do you know why they started doing that? Because they went ahead in the government and said, hey, we'll make these loans we'll make them forgivable. Like we will make sure that you can't get them written off. It's the only type of loan that can't be written off. It's just a scam. There are so many different reasons. They made marriage like illegal, basically. They were like, oh, no, don't get married and don't have kids. All of those things keeps your money in the family. And they made all of that so bad. They did soap operas that had everybody start cheating on each other. And you know what they did in all the other cultures in the world? They started pushing polygamy, except for ours. They started saying that having kids was bad and doing marriage was bad, except for every other culture other than the West. Isn't that interesting? Huh? Except we were the richest, and now we're not anymore. That is the way to wealth, you guys. It's very interesting to me that the boss people, interestingly enough to me, all the people who own the media, remember how I pointed out how 2% of the U.S. population is Jewish, but 33% of them are on the judicial bench, 33% of them are in the media, 33% of, like, remember I gave you all those stats and everything like that? 45% of them on Forbes top 100 list, like straight across the board, and then all own the media. Every single major corporation and newspaper is by, and what is their pattern? Do you think they live the single life? No, they get married and they have kids. Like, don't listen to what they tell you to do. Go do it. And then try to be like Superman. Try to be the hero of your own life. And if you want somebody else to listen to tell you how to do it, listen to Jordan Peterson. And if you ladies are like, I want to meet a good man, go to frickin' Jordan Peterson talk. He's doing them all over America. And go meet some men at those talks. They will not know how to speak to you. You speak to them. Don't just push them. And be nice and wait for an answer. When I met my husband, I used to have to wait 45 minutes for an answer. And I did. And it was worth the wait. You guys have a great. Of course, I didn't know I was going to date him. He was younger than me. But still, that's my point. Is that be patient. And good things will come. Love you guys. Bye. Enjoy the movies.